There's no point.
Tom Ellis has always been very upfront about his thoughts on playing Lucifer Morningstar again, and he's made it clear that he would only consider stepping back into that devilish role under very particular circumstances. He loved the character, and fans definitely loved him too, but Ellis doesn't want to bring Lucifer back just for the sake of doing it. For him, there would have to be a real reason, something big enough and meaningful enough, like a proper movie with a strong story that adds to the legacy instead of watering it down. The interesting thing is, Lucifer's journey on TV already had an unusual path. The show, which is based on the DC Comics characters created by Neil Gaiman, got cancelled once before being saved in dramatic fashion. Netflix swooped in when fans made a huge noise online, and the platform ended up giving the show 3 more seasons after its cancellation on Fox. That brought the total number of seasons to 6, allowing the story to come to what many people saw as a satisfying conclusion. But because the series left just enough loose ends dangling, people have been talking non-stop about whether there should be a follow-up movie since it wrapped up in September 2021. Ellis spoke about this idea during his appearance on the Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum podcast. He admitted that he feels like the TV side of Lucifer is done and dusted. They covered every angle they wanted to cover. But he added that a movie could tempt him back, as long as it was actually worth making. In his words, it can't just be a cash grab or an empty attempt to stretch the story. The script would have to be good, the direction would have to make sense, and the project would need to honor what they'd already done. Otherwise, it just wouldn't feel right. Part of why Ellis feels this way comes from his background in the UK, where the entertainment industry has a different philosophy. Over there, the motto is often, leave them wanting more, and shows are more likely to end on a high note instead of dragging on because of financial success. He pointed to Miranda as an example. Only 20 episodes were ever made, but the sitcom is still iconic. That happened because Miranda Hart, who created and wrote the show, felt like she had told the story she wanted to tell and didn't want to keep writing just to please the BBC, even though the network was desperate for more. Ellis said he admired that kind of decision-making because it meant preserving quality over quantity, something that's not always the norm in the US. Of course, Ellis's portrayal of Lucifer Morningstar was incredibly popular, so it makes sense that fans aren't ready to let go of him yet. Even though Netflix has since turned to The Sandman, another Neil Gaiman adaptation, which features Gwendolyn Christie playing a very different version of Lucifer, there are still constant calls for Ellis's version to return. Christie's take as the gender-swapped ruler of hell has been praised and was one of the highlights of The Sandman, but it naturally raises the question, is there enough room on Netflix for 2 Lucifers? Right now, the answer seems to be no, but in the world of streaming, never say never always lingers. Meanwhile, Ellis himself has moved on to other projects, like his role in the FBI franchise spin-off called CIA, where he plays a fast-talking CIA officer paired with a by-the-book FBI agent. That's scheduled to premiere in the 2025-26 season, so he's not exactly sitting around waiting for Netflix to call. Still, the possibility of a Lucifer movie is hanging in the air, and much of that has to do with the sheer persistence of fans. After all, this wouldn't be the first time Lucifer was saved because of its audience. Back in May 2018, when Fox announced the show's cancellation, fans were furious. Season 3 had just ended with a massive cliffhanger. Lucifer finally revealed his devil face to Chloe Decker, and then suddenly, the show was over. The decision made little sense because the ratings were solid and the show already had a cult following, but Fox wanted to focus on different types of programming. Fans, however, were not about to let that be the end. Almost immediately, hashtags like Save Lucifer and Pick Up Lucifer started trending worldwide. People wrote letters, flooded social media, and shared petitions. Even Tom Ellis himself jumped in, rallying the community with heartfelt interviews and posts. The outcry was impossible to ignore, and before long, Netflix answered the call. By June 2018, Netflix officially picked up Lucifer for a 4th season. In its announcement, the streaming giant even admitted that the fan campaign was a major reason behind their decision. And once the show returned, it was obvious that this was no simple revival, it was a transformation. The version of Lucifer that came back on Netflix wasn't just a continuation of the Fox series. Instead of 22-episode seasons filled with weekly Case of the Week mysteries, Netflix trimmed things down to tighter arcs. Season 4, for example, had just 10 episodes. This gave the writers more freedom to dive into deeper storytelling and focus on character growth. The tone became more mature, tackling bigger moral and theological questions while putting the spotlight on Lucifer's internal battles with guilt, redemption, and his complicated relationship with Chloe. Relationships got more attention overall, and supporting characters like Maze, Amenadiel, and Linda became central to the themes rather than side players. Without the limitations of network TV, the show was able to experiment with bolder visuals, more dramatic action, and heavier emotional beats. It felt like a more ambitious version of Lucifer, and it showed fans just how much potential the series had always had. Looking back, the fan campaign didn't just save Lucifer, it made the show better than ever. The move to Netflix allowed the writers to plan ahead and build toward a proper ending, something that almost never happens with canceled shows. By the time Season 6 aired, the series had managed to give a poignant and satisfying farewell that honored its characters and the fans who fought so hard for it. The finale was especially moving because it closed on an emotional note while also feeling complete. Ellis himself has said that he felt it was the right way to end things, which is why he's hesitant about any casual return. Still, the fact that fans are now mounting new campaigns for a Lucifer movie shows just how passionate the community remains. In fact, the push for a film mirrors what fans did back in 2018. Social media is once again filling up with hashtags, petitions, and posts from people who believe Lucifer's story deserves one final chapter on the big screen, or at least a special on Netflix. It's like deja vu. The same grassroots energy that once resurrected the show is now being redirected into trying to get a movie. Some fans argue that a film could tie up the few storylines left hanging after Season 6, like deeper exploration of Hell's role in the cosmic order or even Lucifer and Chloe's afterlife together. Others simply want another chance to see the beloved cast back together. And because the campaign to save Lucifer is one of the most successful fan-driven revivals in TV history, people believe lightning can strike twice. There's also a growing recognition in Hollywood that fan movements matter. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.